If you've read this week's newsletter, then you already have the overview of what we're going to be talking about in today's episode of Visibility Unlocked. And that is that the orders I introduce the layers of visibility isn't necessarily the order that they are meant to be lived. And I want to go deeper into that today, specifically on the layer that changes everything, which is our inner presence. So, if this is your first time here, welcome. I'm so excited that you're tuning in. And I'm going to ask you to do something a little counterintuitive, which is to hit pause and go back and listen to episode 25. This is where I list out the three layers of visibility. And it's really important to understand what these three layers are in order to be able to follow along in today's episode. So hit pause real quick, go back, listen to episode 25, and I'll be here when you come back. So today we're going to be talking about where visibility actually starts, and that is our inner presence. We spend so much time trying to figure out what it is to say, where to show up, how to be consistent, and all of that matters. We know that consistency is the key to success. But none of that works efficiently or allows us to be able to stay consistent with it the way that it can until this one thing, inner presence, is in place first. So most entrepreneurs go straight to that market presence. This is your content, your reach, your strategy, your tactics. This is showing up in real life to networking events, hoping that you make a connection that leads to a new client, or it's about creating that content online that expands your reach and gets you more visibility and has somebody reach out to you through DM or inquiring with you about your services. But in doing this, they are skipping that inner presence entirely. Or they try to shape their inner presence to fit into the marketing box that they've been handed. This is literally like trying to fit a square peg into a round hole. And this is where the exhaustion starts. So I want you to think about a building, the exterior, how it looks from the street, how big it is, how polished the signage is, the color of the outside, the landscaping all around it, if it's got a picket fence or an open gate that's welcoming people in. This is literally a representation of that market presence. The interior of the building is how clients feel when they walk in. It's the experience that you've created. And this is that client presence. And inner presence, this is the foundation that the building is sitting on. So at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter how beautiful the building is inside or out if the foundation wasn't prioritized, because when the foundation is weak, you spend all of your time running around, replacing things and making repairs. Something cracks on the outside, you go in and you fix it. The bushes die or they become out of season or weeds take over. You bring in a landscaper or a mentor or a coach to tell you what needs to be replaced, and you pay them to replace it. Or on the inside, your client experience, or even just the relationship management of the connections that you have made. This is all about the people that say yes. Maybe the inside doesn't feel as welcoming as you thought because people are looking in the windows and maybe they're not walking in. So you put up fresh paint on the walls. Maybe you rearrange the furniture. Think of this as the aspect of I am going to constantly shift the way that I am doing things and how I'm executing things in my business. Fixing the outside of the building. Think about like the whole rebranding. How many times are we rebranded? Changed our website, changed our content materials, such as our templates that we use for Facebook or TikTok or for Instagram, for our carousels or whatever it is that we're using. And if I just make this prettier, if I change the colors or change the font or come up with a new mantra, that's the winning ticket. That's what's going to happen. Or if I just have better hooks, then I'm going to get people to actually walk in the front door and sit down and have a conversation with me. How exhausting is that? Trying to keep up with all of that. You can't do it forever. It's literally not sustainable. Eventually, we get so exhausted from this maintenance that you stop making the repairs. You stop changing out the shrubs. You stop repainting the interior and the exterior. And because you are literally finally sitting down to take a break, or you literally have just fallen over from being completely burnt out, now everything that you started to build is crumbling all around you. And I want to let you know that none of this is a content problem. None of it is a strategy problem. It's a foundation problem. And the inner presence is the practice of building that foundation and coming back to it so that everything that you create on top of it actually holds. So, what does this building foundation actually look like in practice? I'm going to share a little bit of a practice that we do inside of my Rising Entrepreneur membership. And then I'm going to share what it was like for me to actually go through this practice because I do this work alongside my members. This is exactly what we do every single month, and it starts with numerology. Every month, I look at the numerology. We look specifically at the universal month, but we also look at what universal year we're in, as well as each member's personal year. And from that, we create the energetic landscape of the month ahead. This is not a prediction. We literally use it as a anchor, as the base foundation of the visibility that we're going to build and create in that upcoming month. And from that energetic foundation, each member lands on 4 words. You have your anchor word, which is derived from that universal year. And this is your identity and direction word. It's the who am I becoming and what am I building frequency. Then we have our channel word, and this is derived from our universal month. This is literally how we want the energy to move during the month. What do we want to feel? And then we actually pick 2 words from our personal year. First is a need word, like what is being asked of us? What does this year need from us? And an outcome that we want to experience in this season of life or your personal year. And then we take these 4 words and we create a personal mantra. This is a grounding statement that acts as our foundation for our entire visibility for that next month. So here's what makes this really personal. And one thing that I love about this membership is that 2 women can be sitting in the same exact practice, working with the same month universally, and walk away with completely different mantras because they're in different seasons of their journey. Even if they are in the same personal year, it still is going to produce a different result. And this is not a coincidence. This is literally the work. So I want to share with you what unfolded for me personally as I went through this work alongside my members when I created my April mantra at the end of March. So, quick recap. We have our universal year for 2026, which is a universal 1 year. April is a universal 5 year. So this is all about freedom and change. This is known as the adventurer. And then I'm in a personal 1 year, just like our universal year. So my 4 words were leadership, liberate, confidence, and visibility. And what happened when I started to really sit with that word liberate? This was my representation of my channel word for the universal month of April. This is the feeling that I wanted to experience this month. And honestly, liberate just felt so surface level. And it got me questioning and asking myself, well, what actually needs to be liberated for me to step into more leadership, to have more confidence, to increase my visibility? And doing this work really just sitting with myself, this inner presence gave me the answer. And for me, it was obligations. Now, this is the beauty of this membership and it giving you the opportunity to, even though we're working as a collective, to have a personalized experience. Because even if you are also in a personal year one, just like me, and let's say that you also selected leadership, liberate, confidence, and visibility, what you need to have liberated may be completely different from what I needed to have liberated. But for me, it was obligations because I was having all of these invitations coming in at me, which was something that I absolutely manifested. And we'll talk about manifestation probably on a completely different season because there's so much to talk about when it comes to manifestation. But for me, it was like, okay, now I have all of these opportunities. I don't want to say yes to all of them. I need to step into my own leadership so I can be confident and visible in the obligations that I do want to say yes to. So this is why I specifically picked obligation. I wanted to experience freedom. This was the change that I was looking for inside of this adventurer month of April. So this word obligations, it's specific, it's grounded. This is what's actually in my way, which are obligations. And this is what this inner presence practice does. It takes the energy and makes it actionable. So it's not just a mindset. It's not just a thought. We are literally getting out of our heads and back into our body. And this is what makes the invisible visible. It starts with you. This is what we do at the end of every single month leading into the next month. Then the first week of the month where we work with inner presence is the whole visibility overview of the entire month, right? Now that we have this strong foundation, now it's time to start building the actual building. Okay. We've got the inner presence work. We are now working with inner presence on an even deeper level that is more specific to the universal month. Same thing with the client and the market experience. So this way, the very beginning of the month, we are setting ourselves up of this is the visibility focus that I want to have this month. This is how I want to be visible for myself, how I see myself, how I want my clients to see me, and how I want the market to see me as well. Then week 2 is more body based because, again, this is all about getting out of our heads and back into our body. So noticing what's coming up for us as we start to implement this visibility work, because this is really about our nervous system and what do we feel safe to do? What do we feel safe to receive and to hold? If we don't have the awareness of what's coming up as a block for us, then we can't do anything about that block to remove it, to let that visibility flow in for us. This is where we go over the high and low expressions of each month's energy. And I give you grounding practices for when you're in the low. And then week 3 is one of my favorite weeks because it's life support. It's literally where we all jump on a Zoom call together and you get support from me. So what's been coming up for you? What do you need feedback on? Do you need help figuring out the next step for what you've implemented so far? And then week 4, that last week of the month, is where we get into that energy mantra for the next month. This is a monthly rhythm that we do every single month. And this is the only space that I know of where the inner work isn't squeezed in around everything else. So this is where we are working as a collective, but every member gets to walk away with something really personal. And that's extremely rare in a lot of containers that are being offered right now. So if there's one thing that I want you to take away from this episode today, it is that when you can see yourself clearly, I mean, really clearly, that's when everything on the outside starts to shift. It becomes natural. When things are natural and effortless, then it becomes easier to stay consistent with it. And consistency is the key to success. And without visibility, you don't have a business. You don't have clients. If you literally, visibility is not passive work, right? We can't just sit behind our computer all day and just hope that other people find us, hope that other people are talking about us. We have to take action. And this is what visibility is. It's not a marketing problem. It literally all starts here with you, with the foundation. What are you building your visibility on? Is it somebody else's plan or their formula, their step by step, their template? Is it really representing you at that point? So, if this is the kind of work that you want to be doing every single month, then this is your sign to join REM. This is literally a decision. What do you decide to do with your visibility work every single month? What you have been doing, if you've been struggling, if you're exhausted, if you're burned out, and if you're not seeing the results that you want to see, then it's time to decide to do a completely different approach. And that's exactly what REM is offering you for just $40 a month. I'm going to drop the link in the show notes below for you to learn more about this membership. And also, there is a link to sign up for it as well. Until next time, my friends, let's lead your visibility from the inside out. Most conversations about being seen stop at how you market yourself. Here at Visibility Unlocked, we crack open the 3 layers of visibility: market, client, and inner presence. Because without all 3, you're in the wrong visibility, and wrong visibility is just as bad as none. If you've been putting a lot of effort into showing up and still aren't seeing the results you desire, then you know it's time for a different approach. So hit subscribe, because that's exactly what the show is here to give you. And if you're finding value here, please leave a review so others can find their way to their right visibility too. Please note that the information shared in this podcast is not intended as legal, health, or financial advice and is for entertainment purposes only. If you are looking for professional advice in any of these areas, please seek out a local professional. Thank you for being here, and until next time, lead your visibility from the inside out.